everyone to be here with me. I want to do just a very quick introduction. What we are going to do during the next 6 sessions. As Shivan told you, I am from Italy. I have 15 years of experience in fashion and luxury. In different positions, but at the moment I'm commercial director of Mischka Aoki. Mischka Aoki, it's a luxury brand for kids. I don't know if you know this brand, but it's a brand that where all the little princess and celebrities like Kardashian daughters, like Rihanna nephew, like Beyonce, and for all the special events. So I'm also work in different other companies in fashion and luxury too. And I'm very excited to share with you these 6 stalls, because what is my intention, why I propose to Shivan to do this? Because, you know, I'm teacher in the luxury brand management masterclass in FAD, Dubai for the moment, and in the future, I hope soon, India, when we can start to our normal life. Because during the name of my masterclass is luxury brand management. So that means that I want you to understand the meaning of these 3 words, luxury and fashion, brand, so everything that is around brand, and management. Because if you are here with me today, if you want to attend a masterclass, or if you are with FAD, in somehow you hope one day you can work in fashion. You hope one day you can be a manager, a designer. But when I ask to my students what you want to do when you want to work in luxury and fashion, they say, I want to work in fashion. But no one, unless you want to be designer, so you have a very clear idea. For all the other people, it's not clear what they want to do, but it's normal because you don't know what there is inside the box. You only see outside, you know. So of course you see the catwalk show, the advertising, and the product. So most of my students reply, I want to do I want to work in marketing and communication, or I want to be a stylist. I think they reply me in this way because in somehow it's the funniest part and more sparkling part of fashion. But when you start to work into any fashion companies or luxury company, and it was the same for me when I start my first day, if you don't know what is expecting to you, you can be a little bit shocked because you say, oh, I was thinking to see models and dresses and Miranda of Devil Wears Prada. And then you see a company, because remember that at the end of the day, a business, luxury and fashion companies is simply a business company, because these companies has to make money at the end of the month, as any other company. So the different understanding fashion companies and luxury companies should help you to be ready to your first day. When you arrive the first day, you probably have a minimum idea of what you are going to do. So that's why, based on my experience, what I try to do during my masterclass is exactly this. I want you to know, like to do a short trip into a luxury and fashion companies. So there are different roles, there are different positions. And so when you know which are all the position and all the role available in a fashion and luxury company, then for you it's easier to say, okay, so maybe I don't want to be a marketing manager, but maybe I want to be a product manager. And it's important to understand at the real beginning, because once you start to work in a specific department, then it's very difficult to shift in another one. Because on your CV, what it talks is the first experience that you have. So for me, I started to work like a salesperson in the showroom 15 years ago with Miss 60 group. I don't know, maybe some of you are too young to remember Miss 60, but it was a big company, that the first one that produced denim for ladies, very feminine skin. And I started from them, and then from them, now I'm commercial director. I'm not a designer, I'm not a marketing person, because when you start in some way, then people that approach you want you because you have experience in that specific segment. Now, during the next day, so for each topic, we will have one specialist person, people that I have around me, that I worked with in the past, and we are in contact. So what I want them to tell you is their real life. So it's what happened every day when they go to work. Because I try to make it, this 6 session, not too much theoretical, but I try to give you example about real life, okay? So with me today is just an introduction, and probably every day you pronounce the word of fashion, style, trend a lot of time. And even if you don't pronounce it, you think, because you are now studying for fashion, in fad. So in somehow fashion is in the air, it's around you. And like fashion, even style, even trend, even luxury. But what we want to do today is to tell you how to use this word in the right way, so that you don't have mistake. If you talk with someone like me, or with the minimum of experience, you are sure that when you talk with this person, you are using fashion in the right time and style in the right way. So you have the grammar to coordinate these words, okay? So fashion, we are surrounded by fashion. Let's start with fashion. We are surrounded, right? We see advertisement in the glossy magazine, in the billboard into the street. We wish to were invited to the catwalk show. We must get dressed every day, right? So fashion is around us, but what fashion really means? I don't know if I can ask some of you to tell me what fashion is for you. Is it possible or is not possible?
Yeah, I think it's a lifestyle.
Okay, for you, it's a lifestyle. And someone else that wants to participate?
It's a form of expression for me, a way of communicating.
Okay.
As you rightly said, fashion is a business after all. For us, it's a business.
Okay.
It's feeling good.
It's everyday art.
Okay.
Using your creativity.
You see how many answer, different answer we are receiving? And
it's the way to carry ourselves.
I think for everyone, fashion meaning is very different for each of the person.
yes,
Like,
Anshita, this is true. But at the same time, the funny thing is that every definition is correct. Everything you are now saying is correct. I want to show you a video that I realized during another my class, just to show you. Let me see if you can see that. You can see?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
I think for me, fashion is the ability to create styles that last. I think fashion
Ma'am?
is the ability to constantly without.
You need to increase the volume of the video because we are not able to hear it.
Yeah.
Not audible
You
enough.
cannot, because this is the maximum.
No.
No, no audio.
No.
Okay, okay. Let's stop it. Well, sorry, just 1 second. Okay, okay. Sorry.
There should be an option when you're sharing to share the computer audio also. Right now, your microphone is picking up from the computer speakers. That's why it's so less.
You can hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay, okay. And in the video, you cannot hear anything.
No, but that's because when you're trying to share, you need to click on share computer audio also. It's at the bottom. It's a small little tick. If you tick
Okay.
it, yeah.
Okay, by the way, it's not so important because basically all these students, they simply repeat what I asked to you, and your answer and their answer are very similar. So we can say that creativity, but also business, and something that most people can share, but a way to express our personality. How is possible if I can express my personality and most of the people can share? And it's like glossy magazine, catwalk show, but business and job and the way to create wealth. You see, there is no one definition, but has all the most important context. There are some things and the opposite that are valid at the same time. Because it's so multi-facing concept, we can say that is a business, as I told you at the beginning, it is. And at the same time, we can say that is a catwalk show, because yes, it is. So I want to ask to, let's say, some old friends to tell us and to help us to understand what fashion is. So let me share with you my PowerPoint. You see this now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, because I'm Italian, I want to start with one very famous poet, Italian one, that is Seneca. And Seneca say that we live not according to a reason, but according to fashion, okay? So in somehow we can say that Seneca created an association between fashion and emotions. Because fashion is not only about functionality. We don't dress ourselves because we need it, or not only because we need it. Because if we need it, we have enough, I think. I think all of you have more than 3 t-shirts, 5 trousers, 5 jackets. You don't need to buy. You don't need to buy because you need to cover your body, okay? So, but there is a sort of instinct to buy, if how many of the, especially for the women that are now with me attending the master class, how many times you wake up in the morning, you open your wardrobe and you say, oh, I don't have nothing to wear today. But it's not like that, because we have it, but in somehow there is how I can tell you, path that we don't understand the reason why. When, for example, we are sad, we want to buy something. I say, oh my God, today I have fight with my boyfriend or whatever. I go to Zara, I want to buy something, because there is a very direct relation between buying and emotions. Is it clear for you, this point?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So now another one is Geoffrey Chaucer, that is an English poet. Very long time ago, he said, there is never a new fashion, but it's old. So fashion is a balancing act between the inspiration from the past and the actual and the contemporary time. What I can say is that we can say that there is nothing new to be invented, to be honest, because if you see the new trend, it's like a circle. Every 30 years, a trend of the previous decades comes again. One time is the elegant atmosphere of the saloon of 50s. One time is the Charleston style of 20s. One time is the peace and love of 70s. So you see, all the inspiration are from the past. And most of the time, and we will see with the Noemi, that is the trend and cool hunter from the street, the inspiration comes. So now, which is what each brand's, fashion brands needs to be and must put attention with the inspiration from the past. The balance, they have to be able to balance the inspiration with giving a contemporary flair, because we need to have an heritage, and most of the brands, especially luxury brand, but even some fashion brand, they have an heritage, they have archive where they can find the dress that they presented 20 years ago. Or for example, in Paris, there is the exhibition of Christian Dior. And at the same time, they have to take inspiration from the past, but how they can make it contemporary? The first thing is that they have to change, for sure, the fabric. Because I don't know if you never had the opportunities to see some very, not too much old, but even 80s style or 60s styles, especially the coat and the dresses was very heavy. Because at that time, they didn't have the new fabrics that now, thanks to the innovation, the brands can use. So what they do is they do not transform too much the shape of the inspiration, but for sure, they use different fabric, lighter fabric. So they have to answer to the consumer needs today. So they really have to take inspiration from the past and make it contemporary, mixing with the new trend. Now, this is one of my favorite, because it's from Oscar Wilde, and he says fashion is a form of ugliness so intolerable that we have to alter it every 6 months. So he gave a perfect explanation of an important concept that is obsolescent. Fashion companies succeed in pushing us to buy a new product every 6 months. And as I told you before, they push us to buy, not because they associate the idea to change to the physical dress, but because they associate the idea of change to an aesthetic new needing. And I don't feel good if I'm not wearing the new trend of the season. I feel to be obsolete, especially for the people that work in fashion and that love fashion, because then we will see that there are also people that don't care about fashion at all, but even if they don't care, in somehow, and it's very funny, they will be affected by this fashion. So, and what is also good for the business and for the fashion companies is that because of this short time of the fashion product, they can increase their turnover every 6 months. Just to give you an example, if we sell stones is always the same. So the manager of the stones company and business, they have a budget for 1 year, but the next year the stone is the same. So the final consumer is difficult that has the same necessity that our fashionable people have to buy every 6 months. So for the fashion companies, it's more easy compared to other companies to increase the turnover. Every 6 months, they give us a new trend and they give us a new collection. So in somehow an excuse to buy, because mentally we think that if we don't buy it, we are obsolete. Is it clear, this step?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have some question, if you, in the meantime, if you want to stop me and something is not clear, you can contact on the chat to the administrator and they tell me what is not clear. Okay, but feel free to tell me if you want to understand better some points. Okay. Okay. So
Noted.
Okay.
now, Coco Chanel. Coco Chanel, you probably knows better than any others. She say that fashion is not something that exists in dresses only. Fashion is in the sky, in the street. Fashion has to do with ideas, with the way to live, what is happening. So basically what Coco Chanel understood is that fashion is a business logic, so to change every 6 months, that can be applied not only to the fashion companies that produce clothes, but to a lot of other categories. Because at the moment, and this is a reason why, considering this point that fashion can be applied to different product categories, each brand at the moment have so many different categories. And the name of this process is brand extension, brand stretching, and also the name is licensing. What it means? It means that each brand at the moment knows that they can do more money, more profit if they, of course, if they have their name is strong enough to attract people. But if they are already famous, well known for the clothes, they now present the collection of shoes, bags, sunglasses, perfume, and not only this. After this, they also understood that they can transfer their identity not only to a physical product, but also to an experience. So fashion is everywhere. Fashion is in the food. There's a new trend to eat, let's say, okay, sushi now is not so trend anymore. Probably we have pork now. Even in the air, even in the hotel, there is a new trend. So Coco Chanel understood that fashion is everywhere. And this is important just to introduce you the concept of brand extension and so licensing. So a company, a fashion company that produce one categories can extend in different product categories through a licensing process. And I invited for, I don't know when is scheduled, the licensing manager of Karl Lagerfeld. Karl Lagerfeld, the company is based in Australia, and basically they are, what they have is a very strong name. Karl Lagerfeld is so strong name, but they are not very, if I tell you, think about Karl Lagerfeld typical outfit, yeah, maybe you think about him, black and white, but you are not able to tell me which is an iconic product of Karl Lagerfeld. That is not Chanel, it's the designer of Chanel, but Karl Lagerfeld himself, he passed away, but there is a brand called. And so for this reason, because of the name is very strong, the main business of Karl Lagerfeld is to produce all the kind of products. They have wallet, they have socks, they have trolley, they have luggage, only with the logo. And this is a way to make money. And Coco Chanel understood it very well. Now, Yves Saint Laurent, another French haute couturier, and he said that fashion fade, style is eternal. This sentence gives us the opportunity to understand the difference between fashion and the trend and the style, what the style is. Because a style can be defined as a permanent combination of material, proportions, colors. It's a combination of different elements that create a specific style, okay? And the style concept also is, we can apply not only to clothing. For example, we have the style in art, style of Baroque, because we have some element and typical proportions and shape, but we are not saying about the trend. This is a style of Baroque. Or we have in art the style of, let's say, pop art, that is completely another style. We have also style into the car, automotive. We have station wagon and we have city car, two different styles. So, and of course, in the clothing, we have like minimalism, like Margiela, for example, or Yoshi Yamamoto, with a very clean cut understatement, dark color, not too much print. And then we have some style more exuberant with more colors. We can say like Vivienne Westwood, for example, okay? So which is the difference? The difference is that the style is forever. The style has a very long life, okay? And the trends are short. The life of a trend is short. And I would love to ask you, how long is the life of a trend? Someone can tell me?
It depends from time to time, isn't it?
I think
yeah,
one season.
exactly. The answer is, and we see soon, each brand presents two collections, spring, summer, for winter. For each one, there is a new trend. Trend for spring, summer, trend for winter, 6 months. Other 6 months, another trend. So you see, because of this, as I told you before, artificial life, short life of the trends and of the fashion, because fashion it's up to trend, because it's not luxury. And I will tell you the second, during the second speech, the main difference. So, but now it's important to understand fashion. Fashion is strictly related with the trend. And the trend is short life, but the style has a long life. And which is now the point we need to understand. The point we need to understand is that if I am Roberto Cavalli, which is my style? Someone want to reply? I tell you, the style of Roberto Cavalli is a very strong style. It's exuberant.
Like,
Tell me.
he uses a print of animal. It's wild.
It's wild, yes.
An animal print?
Yeah, animal print. There are some external element of Cavalli that if you see any woman in the street wearing a leopard, sorry?
For a strong woman?
Strong woman, exactly. So,
I think also Cavalli make a style like that now everybody knows.
exactly. This is the style of Cavalli. But what Cavalli brand should do if the trend of the season is understatement and clean and total black? The balance is the challenge is that Cavalli has to find a way to keep the style, because the style of Cavalli it's basically means identity of Cavalli.
Yeah.
And the identity of Cavalli cannot be total black with big volume, because Cavalli is fitted, Cavalli is very sexy. So they cannot, absolutely, they cannot change it, but they have to be able to filter the style through their eyes and their personality. It's like, okay, this is the style. Okay, let me see how I can interpret this style, this new trend without losing my style. Because the one of the biggest mistake some designer did in the past, creating also a very struggling problem for the brands, is to create the collection without taking in consideration the style of the brand.
They lose the identity, yeah, I think.
Completely. So, okay, there is a new trend, okay? We are all on the same, it's like if we are all on the highway, okay? We are all on a highway, and we are going all in the same direction, but everyone decide how fast wants to drive or which exit wants to take. Depends. One season maybe your style is closer to the new trend, you are lucky. One season maybe is not, but don't lose your style and don't lose your identity. So this is very important. And so I introduce you here the importance of the designer that we analyze very soon. Then, okay, Halber Helbaz, Israelian, she say, fashion is like a fruit. You couldn't eat a day before, and you couldn't eat a day after. It's just about today. Because we are, the sentence, it's about fruits, I give you a very clear example. Dolce & Gabbana, they present a lot of print with fruits, right? Sometimes they have lemon, sometimes they have strawberry, sometimes they have other fruits, because they like to mix it, because they have Sicilianity with typical fruits from South Italy. So in somehow, if in the spring, summer, the print is with lemon, and in fall, winter, the print is with orange, if I'm into fashion and if I want to be fashionable and not obsolescent, I cannot wear, you can, no one stop you in the street, but you cannot wear the lemon of the summer when it's winter, because the fashion companies succeed, as I told you, pushing you to buy the new trend and the new print, to feel yourself on trend, to feel yourself fashionable. So the short term of fashion companies is also a secret why they can increase every 6 months, and they can be more profitable than a lot of other companies. And that happens only if we talk about business, about fashion companies, because in any other companies you will work with that is not related with fashion and luxury. What I'm saying you now is not valid. That's why it's important that if one day you will work as manager or whatever into the fashion business, you know that you have to take in consideration logicals, business logicals completely different than any other companies. And then Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren gives me the opportunities to introduce the concept of dream. He said that I don't design clothes, I design dream. So he clarified the difference between the product that the company sells, because the company sells a product, but the company, what the company does, the company attach to a product an atmosphere, an association of values that we reflect into the brand. So he clarified the difference between the product that the company sells and the brand that the consumer buy. Because the company sells a product, but the consumer, as I told you at the real beginning, wants to buy the dream, wants to buy what is attached to that brand. Otherwise, why I have to buy the polo t-shirt of Ralph Lauren and not another polo? Because probably he was so good to create his world. And his world is about youth, it's about aspiration, it's about wealth family from Boston that like to play polo. So he created, how he created the dream. He created the dream. The process to create a dream is not so easy. It's easier if you have a real background, a real heritage, a real family business starting 200 years ago, and then like Hermes, like especially the French brands that have a family behind the name. But during my masterclass, I talk a lot about Ralph Lauren, because Ralph Lauren, he's no one. I mean, he's an important designer, but he's not from a wealthy family. He's not from a countryside white big villa with people that play golf or play polo, but he created this dream, and he was very good to transfer this dream through the product and through the communications, being always constant and coherent with his product in all the years of his career. And that's why, if we have time, and if it's possible, I want to show you a video where it explains what there is behind a run show. May I? Let me see if you can, especially if you can hear. I'm trying, just the connection is not so far. Okay, tell me if you hear. You hear?
No.
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so what I have to do?
You need to go off share and try to share it again. This time there is an option which says share computer sound too.
Okay, stop share.
Yes, go back to share again, but don't click immediately.
Share computer sound, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
The best pleasure is the creativity, the stretching, not accepting the ordinary. And they say, my God, I can't believe I did that. If you want greatness, you have to put the time into greatness. You can't have greatness overnight, and you can't have greatness just because you snap your fingers. So when you start a collection from the beginning, it's the most painful thing in the world because you don't know where you're going. I worry as if it was day one. I say to myself, did I do the right thing? Did I dig deep enough into my creativity to come up with something new, or am I settling for something that feels good to me? I think the best thing that ever happened to me is that I was able to express myself and find talents I don't think I have. I'm drawing inspiration from my life, from history, from movies, from books, from everything I see. Put it together and try to make a statement. Fashion is about change, it's about youth, it's about aspiration, it's about what's going on in the world. It's a blend of all the things that are happening, coming from many different directions. I can only design into a world for a woman. I see the woman and then I say, okay, how does she live? What is she doing? What was she wearing? Are they racy? Are they intellectual? Are they bohemian? Are they European? Are they very American? These are worlds and they are dreams for people. Doing the women's collection, you got to pull from your toes because it's truly a ground-up restoration of a world. You got to create something and make it new every season. The concepts of how it gets presented both in the music and in the showroom and in its shapes and on the woman becomes a total art piece to me. Part of the excitement is breaking rules. Knowing the rules and breaking the rules and making them even better. The creative moment of reaching higher and higher and dreaming in the middle of turmoil. It all comes together really before the show this goes on. No matter how much in advance you work, no matter how many days you do it, it comes together 3 o'clock in the morning, you're finished. And it's happened to me for 30 years doing the same thing. This is not a job. This is a joy. This is what I breathe. It's what I live. And I think if I cut that off, I'd be cutting part of my soul. So it is your moment. And the fears and the scare and the sort of all the dangers, signs that you see when you're working are there. And then there's that exhilarating sense of I got something going, I'm there. I wouldn't trade with anybody. Sometimes you hit that high note that you're always looking for. You hit that note of like, oh my God, I did something. I reached up. I reached a little higher. I looked at the show and I remember looking at each of the girls and I said, oh my God, Ralph, enjoy this moment. This is one of your best moments. Enjoy this moment. This is how life is dreamt to be.
Okay. Let's take again. Okay. Okay, so as you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So as you can see,
So I've noticed that a lot of people are talking about this crisis as an opportunity for a new perspective.
1 second, guys, huh?
Yeah, right now that's kind of hard.
Okay. Sure. Voila. Okay. So I think it was very interesting because you see, he summarized all the concept we discussed about the every season he has new idea. He create a dream everywhere. He create a dream not only in the collection, the music, the atmosphere, the models, the kind of models, the showroom, the people that sell into the showroom. So what is very important when if you will create your collection, don't think only about your products, the collection, but be sure in the future and in every step of the chain before then your product arrive into the store, that every single step is surrounded by the dream that and the world that you want to create and the value that you want to transfer to your consumer. That's very important. So he introduced the idea of the dream. And what is important to say is, okay, so who creates the dream? The dream is one of the very important person creating the dream is for sure the designer. So the company, as you can read here, do not only sell product, okay? And they sell a way of express themselves through their product. Now what's happened? That any single brand has his identity. Like me, I'm blonde, I'm Italian, and I'm like that. And maybe I can attract people that feel themselves closer to me because of the way I am, because of the way I talk, because of my idea and my value. So imagine a brand like a person. So they create a word. I have my magic word. You have your magic word. And maybe we are attracted by the people that are closer to us. And the same is for the brand. So when we reflect ourselves into the value that the brand is able to transfer to us, that there is a link. That's why some people prefer to buy, I don't talk about now, I'm not talking about big logo, because everyone now wants big logo like Fendi, like Gucci, but I think I'm talking now about style, especially style. So I'm more aggressive and extravagant. I'm not understatement, for example, because I am like that. And for that reason, I prefer brand like Versace and Dolce & Gabbana than Margiela, because I feel myself closer to this dream. Now, they create different words. So just to give you an example, Ralph Lauren, he created a WASP lifestyle. WASP is an acronym to express white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, so the very original Americans. And I have here the link, but I don't think we have, how many time we have? Because I have to introduce Noemi very soon.
We have time.
Ah, okay. So, for example, the WASP, the word of Ralph Lauren is this. You can see, typical American people. This is the word he created, right? And stop share. And then there is the Sicilianity of Dolce & Gabbana, that is completely another style, okay, not trend, another style, and completely another word, another value association to this brand. Sicilianity, made in Italy, Italian print, Italian embroidering, because you know, fashion is very strong related with Italian designer, because in Italy there is we analyze also this in the next talk. In Italy, there is not luxury. We are more fashionable and trendy than the French people, and the kind of business model in French are more luxury, while in Italy are more fashionable. That's why haute couture catwalk show, for example, is in Paris and not in Italian. And if you think about the big haute couturier, Dior or even Saint Laurent, they are from Paris. But in Italy, you have all the fashion designer like Cavalli, Dolce & Gabbana, Versace, Armani. So they don't have family heritage, but they understood before than the others how it's important to give every 6 months new trends and following the trend, but mixing with the style.
Yeah,
now,
Angelica, we couldn't see that. That slide is not shown to us. We're still seeing
no?
the dream factor. Yes. So if you could just.
The dream factor you can see.
Yes.
Yeah, no. I was just talking. There is no. I just was explaining you. No. We are on the same page.
Okay, thank you.
And so, my pleasure. So, dream is about fashion. It's about dream factor in any case, because if we cancel the idea of dream, then we talk about no brand product. So, give you an example. If you go to I don't know, in India, you probably, yes, you have H&M or Zara or whatever. If I ask you which is the identity of Zara, which is the identity of H&M, are you able to reply to me?
I don't think they have a really identity. It's a fast fashion, so they just
exactly. So they don't have identity. They just copy the style of the brands. Okay, so the dream factor is only associated with fashion and luxury companies. And who helps to create this dream factor for sure is the designer. The designer is like a celebrity in the fashion and luxury industries. And what happens in the luxury and fashion industries for the designer do not happen in any other industries. Because if you think the designer is basically the person that creates physically the drawing and sketch the collection and create the collection, correct? So, but he's not only this, not at all, because at the end, in any single different companies, there is someone that is the product manager for cars, for everything. There's someone that creates something and then the company produced. But what happens in the fashion industries and luxury happens only here. So the designer needs to be a celebrity. So also it's important that as designer, you have a very, not necessarily strong personality. It can be also not strong, but somehow it's in some way a personality. So what's happened is that we create in the fashion companies a myth on the person more than on the brand. Just to be more clear, at the end of the catwalk show, we see the designer. Everyone at the end of the catwalk show, we are there waiting to see the designer and to show him how much we are happy and excited, if we like the collection, of course, about the new dream he created for us. The designer comes out after the end of the catwalk show and is in front of a lot of photographers under the flash. So it's a real celebrity, and is also the person that endorses all the value of the brands and needs to endorse the value, because what's happened today is that often the designer is not the founder, because the founder unfortunately died. Like in Chanel, for example, when she died, then other designer until when Karl Lagerfeld arrived. Karl Lagerfeld became a celebrity. And at that time, he didn't have a brand. He was just a designer. But his personality was very strong. And when a designer is really a good designer, is when he's able to mix his personality to the personality of the brand, giving a new touch to the brand, make the brand innovative compared to the past. Because a lot of companies in the past did two different mistakes. One, they didn't change anything from the past. They say, no, this is our identity, we don't change at all, forgetting completely the innovations. But if you forget the innovation, you forget the consumer needs, so you are out of the market. Or following the new trend too much, losing your DNA. So the position of the designer in the company, especially if he's not the founder, is crucial. It's very important. I saw a lot of companies at very bad season because the designer, like when Cavalli, because I work with Cavalli, that's why I'm often tell you this example. When Roberto sold the company, the new management decided to give this position to another designer, Peter Dundas, the name of the designer. And Peter Dundas created an amazing collection, high quality, made in Italy, all handmade embroidering, Italian leather. Where is the problem? The problem is that he created his collection, not Roberto Cavalli collection. So he was not, in this case, it was not a good designer. It was terrible. Okay, so the designer needs to always remember the identity, and if he does the good job, of course, he's a celebrity. So I want to give you the example of Tom Ford. Tom Ford, in the 90s, I think 1997, he's the one that was so good to create a new Gucci style without forgetting Gucci. So he gave a new flavor of glamour, sexy, metropolitan to the Gucci brand with an heritage of Florence family. Very elegant. They was born with leather, doing glows. So, but he gave this new touch because he understood the new trend, but he didn't forget the style of the brand. And he became a celebrity. So if you see the picture at the end of the show, it's like a show as well. And is the most important part of the show when the designer comes out. And for example, when he left, then Vanity Fair US dedicated to him the first page of Vanity Fair. And he was the testimonial of American Express. He was the testimonial of vodka Absolute, because he became really a celebrity, and he's the living dream. You know, he's a dream. Around him, there is the brand, and around him, there is the dream and the value and the worth. Even Ralph Lauren, he wear like a typical Ralph Lauren customer. When I see him, I immediately think about an horse, like a leather with friend, like a countryside, you know, so it's very important. If I tell you Jonathan High, and this kind of process, this kind of business logic, again, happens only in fashion companies and luxury companies, like the short term of the product, like the possibility to increase the budget every 6 months. So if I tell you who is Jonathan Ive, there is someone of you able to tell me?
I guess he was the chief design officer for Apple.
Bravo, Mehul. But I guess that just 10% of us knows who he is. Maybe.
It was like Britisher.
Because maybe, okay, maybe we know who is him, but I'm sure that because we are into the fashion, we don't stop him into the street, ask to have a selfie, probably. He's not a celebrity, but he's a guru because he's the person behind the success of iPhone, iPad, iPod. But you see the difference. There is no dream attached to technology. The dream is attached to what is fashion. And here it is for you, Jonathan Ive, that he left the company in the last July, I think, after 13 years. But just because I want to explain you the importance of the designer. Now, very quickly, the life cycle. There is 3 stages, okay? Introduction, peak, and decline. What it means that who is the player of the introduction? The player of introduction is the designer, of course. And then the new trend, the new players are the opinion makers, trendsetter. They adopt the innovation of the designer. Like who are the opinion leaders? The press that decide to give a great exposure to a product, to a new product, to a new creation of the designer. Or now we are full of influencers and bloggers. They are, of course, considered, depends how many followers they have, the opinion leaders. They are. And then, but even small groups of consumers that want to differentiate themselves because of a class reason, okay? So because they want to share some specific value, they decide to go for a specific trend. And then the trend enter in the so-called mainstream phase. So the peak is when, of course, is the moment when sales peak. Everyone knows that this is trendy. Like, to give you an example, Off-White. Now everyone knows Off-White. Now we probably want to buy something that it's a crazy price point for a sweater. But 2 years ago, only the rapper and the very opinion leader goes for this kind of product, okay? Now, when the product arrives to the peak is when it becomes fashion, is when everyone in the world, let's say, somehow knows that this thing is fashion, okay? And then there is the phase of decline. In the phase of decline, I think is very funny because in somehow, even if we are not fashion people, we are affected by fashion. And even if we don't know why we are buying like a blue shirt, we buy the blue shirt, but we don't know why we are doing this, but we are indirectly driven to buy that. And in this phase, the decline phase, we have the people that looking for value for money. So people that they found a product with a very good price and they say, okay, I buy it, but they don't know why they are buying. But fashion affects everyone. And for this reason, I want to show you this really funny part of the movie, Devil Wears Prada.
New Charlotte's Magic Serum Crystal Elixir. Advanced results, 93% agree.
You can hear?
Yes, we can hear, but we can't see.
You can see?
No?
No. And I've seen
okay, let me try again.
the other dresses.
We have some right here and
Stop share, okay.
it's just baffling to me. Why is it so impossible to put together a decent run-through? You people have had...
Okay, stop share.
Yeah, we could see that actually.
You can see?
Yeah, we could see that.
Okay. Even now you can see?
Yes, we see the, I mean, the video is not yet
the screen
started.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see the file system.
Look at this video and understand why I'm telling you that fashion affects everyone.
No, and I've seen all this before.
Deskins is trying to reinvent the dropway, so actually
Where are all the other dresses?
we have some right here and then
And
Armani.
watch and listen.
And I think it can be very interesting
No.
with...
No, it's just...
No, it's very slow.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try again.
Just unshare. Unshare.
Yeah, yeah. Stop share. I try with this, maybe it's better. Okay.
Quando senti parlare di polmonite, non pensi subito a un affollato ospedale.
Now you see?
No, no, we can't because it's playing in your browser. So you just need to stop share, and when you share it, you just share the browser for us.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
Stop share. Share screen. Share sound. Share. Now?
Yes.
Voilà.
No, and I've seen all this before.
Deskins is trying to reinvent the dropway, so actually
Where are all the other dresses?
we have some right here and then
And
Armani.
watch and listen.
And I think it can be very interesting
No.
with...
No, it's just baffling to me. Why is it so impossible to put together a decent run-through? You people have had hours and hours to prepare. It's just so confusing to me. Where are the advertisers?
we have some pieces from Banana Republic.
Well, we need more, don't we? Oh, this might be. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, you know me. Give me a full ballerina skirt and a hint of saloon, and I'm on board.
But do you think it's too much like...
Like a La Croix from July? I thought that, but no, not with the right accessories. It should work.
Where are the belts for
Attention now,
this stuff? Why is no one ready?
Here. It's a tough call.
Now.
They're so different.
Something funny?
No, nothing's, it's just that both those belts look exactly the same to me. I'm still learning about this stuff and,
This stuff? Oh, okay. I see. You think this has nothing to do with you. You go to your closet and you select, I don't know, that lumpy blue sweater, for instance, because you're trying to tell the world that you take yourself too seriously to care about what you put on your back. But what you don't know is that that sweater is not just blue, it's not turquoise, it's not lapis, it's actually cerulean. And you're also blithely unaware of the fact that in 2002, Oscar de la Renta did a collection of cerulean gowns, and then I think it was Yves Saint Laurent, wasn't it, who showed cerulean military jackets. I think we need a jacket here. And then cerulean quickly showed up in the collections of 8 different designers. And then it filtered down through the department stores and then trickled on down into some tragic casual corner where you no doubt fished it out of some clearance bin. However, that blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs. And it's sort of comical how you think that you've made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry when in fact you're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room. from a pile of stuff.
Okay. So the meaning is exactly what we were analyzing together about the life cycle. So even if we are not fashionable people, in somehow fashion affects everyone, even the late adapter. And I think this Shane is hilarious, but is exactly what I was trying to explain you. Now, the designer, of course, needs inspiration sources to create a new collection. And we arrive at the point that I want to introduce you, Noemi. So first of all, just to recap, I know I gave you few and maybe too much explanation about the most important words I would love you to think about how to use it, the word of fashion, style, trend, dream, and designer. Fashion, company that is a business company with business logicals completely different than any other companies. New product every 6 months. Each brand has its own style that is different than trends. Then trend change every 6 months. And the designer needs to combine trend and style. And the designer himself is a celebrity that endorses the value and the word that each brand communicate. Okay? So if it's too much, if you have other questions, you can ask me after this, or you can decide maybe to attend the short course masterclass I will do with Fad about luxury brand management, or we are going to decide what. But I hope to see you also in the next days with other topics. But now I want to introduce now Noemi. Noemi, she is a cool hunter and trend spotter in Milan. How I can introduce Noemi?
Good afternoon to everybody.
Ecco Noemi. Noemi is here. She's from Milan as well. Unfortunately, I cannot see her in person because of the situation that you know, unfortunately. But she has a lot of interesting things to tell you about what is his position and how she study and try to create new trend for the designer. Okay, so Noemi, here for you, and thanks for enjoying our class.
Thank you very much, Angelica, and good afternoon to everybody. This afternoon we will talk about trends and cool hunting preview, and I've made for you some slides to understand much better what we are talking about. So let's start to share the screen and tell me if you heard and get a look to what I'm talking about. Okay, could you see the slides and hear me well? Okay, I get a look to chat just because you are answering. Okay, yes, that's it. So, what we are going to talk about is trends and cool hunting, and this is just a preview of what is my work. Just a moment because I can't see you. Okay. No. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm Noemi Vanda Bruni, as I said, and I am a cool hunter. I come from Rome, but now I live in Milan since 10 years before. I've studied fashion in Milan and then cool hunting at St. Martin's College of London. I work also as an art director, but my first skill is about trend forecasting, and that is what we are going to talk about this afternoon. Something about the voice, maybe?
Yeah, there's, is it clear for you guys, the voice?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No,
Maybe I have
Okay, so no.
Yes.
It's lagging a lot.
Okay, could you hear me better?
Still not clear.
Try again now, Noemi.
Just a moment. Okay, could you hear me better?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it's much better.
Definitely better. Ole,
Oh,
here we are.
let's come back to the slides. So, as I said, I work also as an art director, but my first skill is about trends forecasting. That is what we are going to talk about this afternoon. I work as a freelance and I collaborated with many agencies in Italy. One of them is called Uragano Studio, and the translation is Hurricane Studio. And this is a creative agency specialized in style consulting and cool hunting. And we used to work for many clients and also for the International Textile Fair Premiere Vision of Paris. I'm also a trends and cool hunting, styling and art direction professor at Accademia del Lusso in Milan. So nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. The first point that we are going to talk about is about what is fashion forecasting. Fashion forecasting is a global career that focuses on upcoming trends. The concept applies to all levels of fashion industry, including haute couture, ready-to-wear, mass market, and streetwear. A fashion forecaster, also called cool hunter, so for example me, predicts colors, fabrics, textures, materials, prints, graphics, accessories, street style, and other styles that will be presented on the runway and in the stores for the upcoming season.
And Noemi, you are, sorry if I'm interrupting you. Now you also explain how you can create this new.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now we are going to get a look to how we have to approach to trends and how is the method that I'm working about trends every day. The elements that define technically a trends are colors, shapes, fabrics, volumes, motif and prints, costume and cultures. What about the colors, shapes, fabrics and volumes and also prints? We can get a look on the runways and to understand what are the trends. For costume and cultures, we have to study a little bit more. There are two kinds of trends forecasting, the long-term forecasting and the short-term forecasting. Now we start to get a look to long-term forecasting. Long-term forecasting is the process of analyzing and evaluating trends that can be identified by scanning a variety of sources for information, and it is a fashion which lasts over 2 years. When scanning the market and the consumers, fashion forecasters must follow demographics of certain areas, both urban and suburban, as well as examine the impact on retail and its consumers due to the economy, political system, environment, and culture.
Long-term forecasts contribute to a fashion firm's development strategies and help it make decisions related to repositioning or extending product lines, starting new business, and reviving brand images. So we can say that long-term forecasting predicts trends 5 or more years out and focuses on the direction of the fashion industry with regard to materials, design production, and retailing. So this is a very deep study about trends, about the market, and about the customer's needs. For short-term forecasting, we can say that short-term forecasting focuses on current events, both domestically and internationally, as well as pop culture, in order to identify possible trends that can be communicated to the customer through the seasonal color palettes, fabrics, and silhouette stories of the designers, as we said before. It gives fashion a modern twist to a classic look that intrigues our eyes. Some important areas to follow when scanning the environment are current events, art, sports. There's one message in chat. Now it's clear, we can able to hear her voice. I have some question, guys, feel free. Okay, okay, that's
no, I mean that I ask if the guys have some question, they can stop.
Yeah, for sure, feel free to ask me everything that you are curious to understand about this job. So, as we said, the areas that contaminate fashion are the events, art, sports, science, technology, also design, also architecture, also interior design, also music. Everything can be very important to understand fashion trends. So short-term forecasting can also be considered Fed forecasting. We can say that short-term forecasting envisions trends 1 to 2 years in the futures and focuses on new products with information about color, textile, and style. For example, with my agency, we used to work 2 years in advance to understand what will happen in the future. Now we will talk about Bureau de Style, and Bureau de Style are the agency specialized in anticipating, detecting, and analyzing and observing trends. They produce and sell seasonal books called trend books. These trend books are full of thematic mood boards, rich of conceptual images, fabrics and materials, prints of course, and color palettes. You can find, for example, these trend books in fairs or in concept stores or in bookshop, and they are a little bit expensive just because are for brands or producers. The work of the Bureau de Style consists in identifying cultural and consumer attitudes 2 years before, as I said you, when they are in the embryonic stage, so at the beginning. So we used to sense what will be and become mainstream 2 years after. The main action to be applied are researching and observing first, capturing and selecting, and finally sensing what could be trends for the market and for the customers. Trend Tablet by Lydia Edelcourt, Pecler Paris, Nelly Rodi, and WGSN are some of the most important agencies of trend forecasting in the world. Their work consists in identifying cultural and consumer attitudes 2 years before when they are in the embryonic stage, as I said before. So we can say that it's not about looking for fashion.
Sorry if I interrupt you. It's true that the WGSN now they can just forecast 1 year ahead instead than 2.
Sorry, could you repeat because I can hear you?
So basically, it's true that now it's not 2 years anymore, but it's only 1 year.
It depends. Just because we will see after that the time of trends are changing. And the manner of fashion is very, very fast. And so maybe sometimes some agency used to work just 1 year in advance. It's true for some agencies, yes. And for instance, for WGSN, yes.
Because I've done some research with the next season color, and they told me that it's only 1 year now.
Maybe, Noemi, may you explain for everyone, maybe people that doesn't know what WGSN is?
Yes, WGSN is a Bureau de Style, an agency specialized in trend forecasting. And it is an international agency that works with the major brands in the world, also fast fashion, but at the same time haute couture or pret-a-porter.
And where is based? In London or New York?
In London, I think.
Yeah. London.
Yeah, in London. And they offer trend books in many sectors, not just in fashion, but also in design or in lifestyle. And they can get a 360 approach to the trends in the world. They sell trend books, I think, about 2,000 or 3,000 euros to people, to brands or to producers. And for example, H&M, Zara, Nike, Adidas used to work with WGSN.
Okay.
It is the most international agency specialized in trend forecasting.
So it's the number one? Which is the number one?
So now it is the most international. The number one in the past was Trend Tablet by Lewi Edelcourt. Lee Edelcourt was and is the guru of trend watching. And she was the first to start to analyzing trends and trends forecasting, but now she's a little bit old, we can say that. And so she also has a particular style matched to materials and traditions and folklore. So the market wants something much more fresher.
Yeah, and one question that may be interesting for the students, which is the characteristics, which is the skills that a person that wants to work in a kind of agency like that needs to have?
Yeah, I think that the most important skill is to be curious of everything and of every sectors, because of fashion trends are not just about fashion, but fashion trends are about design,
food, design,
art, and art after all, I think. So the first one is the curiosity, and second one is to to start to observe things in a different way and analyzing why people are doing that. And you can develop your intuit doing this and to observe everything that is around you. And first of all, the culture is very important to doing this.
Your culture or yes. the way you perceive things, so it means...
Yes, the way you perceive things and your culture to analyze all the things that are around you. Because of, as you said before, trends are kind of something of the past that comes again, and new in a different way, in a refreshed way. And so you have to know what's happened in the past to be able to analyzing the trends.
And so, to understand this trend, yes. Because if you don't know what happens in 70s, you don't understand the trend.
Exactly. and it's important to know art, design, iconic designers, iconic photographers, iconic stylists, and also subcultures, because fashion takes a lot from subcultures. We can see also with Gucci and with his cultural appropriation of the past, that everything from the past comes in the present. So if you have to know a lot what is the character of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on, iconic fashion in the past, to be able to understand in the catwalks what are the reference.
Yeah. Okay. So like to have a special feeling.
Yes.
Special feeling, curiosity, culture about fashion, and to know the story of the brands and the story of the decades before us, to be able to understand, okay, this trend is from 20s. This trend is to recognize, so to study a lot, be curious and study, because maybe even if you don't have culture, because you live in a country that is not fashionable, by the way, you have the possibility to study through the internet right now, or the courses, and understand more and be ready to work in one of these agencies.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's very important also to be updated to the things that happens around you, but by the web now it's very easy to do that. You can get a look to the performance in streaming, or to the exhibition of the museums in the world, and of the runways, catwalks, and so on. So also to be updated about your time, it's very, very important to understand the future. Just because it's not to dream about the future, but to start to design it. And you can do that just with a lot of curiosity and studying all the things of the past and of the present, for sure.
So you need to have a lot of passion, by the way. Is the secret is first of all, and I think, and I want to tell you guys, for every kind of work you want to do in the future, do what you have passion for more, because it will be more easy, because fashion and luxury in any case is not a game. You have to work very hard to become someone. So if you don't have passion, and that's why I want that I asked to Noemi to explain which kind of person, so to give you an idea if this kind of work can be your work, or you are completely far away from this and you are more into the numbers, and maybe you can be a brand manager, or a marketing manager, or a merchandising manager. Okay, no, you can go ahead.
It's exactly like that. And it's very important to understand that it is a business, and no joking business, for sure. So the passion is the first point to understand. It becomes a sort of 24 hours and 7 for 7 days job, just because you are looking every time and every minute what is around you. If you go out with your boyfriend, you get a look to the visual merchandising, or you go to the last exhibition in Fondazione Prada. So it's very important to be able to do everything around you, or just...
And let me say, it's very important that your boyfriend also loves fashion. Otherwise, he will not follow you watching the windows and the museum of art and everything.
Yes, could be a little bit boring for boyfriend, just for mine, because of at the beginning it was very hard to explain that this is a 24 hours job. So I have to go to last exhibition, last runways, last movie, last concert, and also the things like that.
Okay, okay. You want to go ahead? You have other slide, right?
Sorry?
You have other slides, yeah.
Yeah, I have other slides. So we can say that in a trend book, you can find a lot of mood boards. I put a sample of mood board that you could find in a trend book. This mood board is about inclusivity, that is a topic trend for spring summer 2022. Inclusivity is the equality of trying to include many different types of people and treat them all fairly and equally.
Noemi, sorry, spring summer 2022 will be presented when?
Now.
Okay, in July.
Yeah, Uragano Studio, my agency, used to work 2 years in advance. And so now that we are in spring summer 2020, we have shown to Premiere Vision Paris this trend book.
Yeah, but the store, when we will see this trend into the store? In 2 years?
In spring summer 2022, in 2 years.
In 2 years, okay, yes. Okay.
Exactly. We start to collect a series of aesthetic data, conceptual images to make understand some communication points. For example, in this case, it is about genderless fluidity of age, of body. It's about body shaming. It's about new kind of oversized shapes that fashion has to include inside. And in fact, many articles are about the fact that brands with inclusion in their DNA used to do many they sell much more than brands that are not inclusivity. Okay.
Okay.
So we have a question maybe. Okay, Disha asked us, how can one become a trend forecaster? Okay, for example, I studied fashion in Milan, and then I studied cool hunting at Central St. Martin College in London. So I specialized myself in this way. Then you start to work with many creative agencies, and you start to give them a vision of your works, a vision of your style, a vision of your trends. And this is the way that you can start to become a trend forecaster. Yes, this is the way. And people start to trust you and to trust your trends forecasting in, I think, 5-10 years, because you have to tell them that your intuit is visible in the fashion shows. So it takes a long time for sure. And instead, if you are a freelance, you can work also with many different agencies. But if you work in exclusivity with just one agencies, you have to be in secret for 5 years of what about you have discovered about trends.
What do you mean in secret?
That you can tell nobody what are you studying and what are you discovering about trends and about fashion. So for example, if now I am starting to analyzing trends for spring summer 2022, I can tell to nobody until 2025 that I'm looking for and for what clients I'm doing that.
Wow.
You can understand?
Wow. And another question is, the different agency, is possible that they present completely different trends? Or I mean, like, okay, I need to have a trend, a cooler, and maybe I contact 2 different agencies and they give me completely different trends and they confuse me. Is it possible?
No, it's not so possible, because the reference that you find in your universe are the same. And so if you are a good cool hunter, you can discover mainly the same things, the same main concepts for sure, not in the specific one, but the main concept, the main thematic are the same for the most important cool hunter in the world, because they can feel similar things, because in the modern time they go to the same concerts, they go to the same exhibitions, they have the same references.
I understand. There is a question, I think, Noemi.
Yes, so that means you are not allowed to discuss your work with anybody. Yes, if you work in exclusivity with just one agency, you can't tell anybody what is your point of discovering. How did you forecast the colors on the mood board? Okay, about the colors, that specific studies for sure. And in this case, in this slide that you can see in the video wall, I used to took colors from the pictures, but there are Pantone or other agencies that analyze colors that are specialized in doing that.
So you are saying that there are cool hunter only specialized in colors.
Yes,
so you took this idea from Cool Hunter of colors, or because they gave you also inspiration?
Okay, so there are Cool Hunters just for colors.
Okay.
And also, for example, the Bureau de Style used to sell trend books focuses just on colors, or just on materials, or just on textures, or just on prints. So, for example, I am specialized in finding pictures among the web or among the fashion publishings, but I'm not specialized in
colors. Okay.
Okay, there's another person in my agency specialized just in finding colors and also in giving names to new colors, for example, because we know Pantone is the main agency that gave in the past codes to colors to make people of worldwide understand exactly which kind of colors we are talking about. But there are, sorry, didn't get what you are specialized in. Okay, I am specialized in finding pictures, thematic and conceptual pictures, like the ones that you can see in the wall. And I'm specialized in concept, so not in colors, not in prints, not in materials, not in textures, but in concepts. These concepts could be developed by brands, but not only in fashion, also in beauty, also in food, also in design, and so on, also in photography, and so on. So I am specialized in conceptual trends and in visual research. Visual research is the correct name to tell my skills, my best skills. Okay.
So pictures, basically, pictures that have something new to communicate. Picture that probably we didn't see before.
Exactly.
They have something new, and you are able to understand that there is something something new in this picture.
Yes, and that is something also about semiotic, the message that an image can give to customers or to brands or to producers. Okay, so I used to looking for pictures every day, but not pictures in a mainstream way. I have my database of website, of profiles, of blogs, and so on.
That you created.
Yes. Yes.
You created considering which bloggers or which website for you have something interesting to communicate.
Yeah. Interesting and cooler and fresher and new, and that's it. And then we will see in the hand of the slides some website that I decided to suggest to you to start your own visual research. Okay?
Great. So you have like your personal background that you search inside this big box with all your research. Okay.
I'm always in research of emerging brands, emerging photographers, emerging stylists, emerging creatives that can help me to understand what is the light and to underline this light proposing trends to my clients.
Okay, and do you think India, it's because a lot of the guys here are from India, is an important incubator for new vision? You have a lot from them?
Yeah, for sure. It's a new market and it's a new vision of a lot of tradition that are very interesting for the fashion world, for sure. It's a new direction.
Yeah, because I think that I can see now with Fed, and they really have very creative, and because they mix their culture, that is huge. It's a very important culture. But at the same time, students are very foolish and contemporary.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that that's the point, the most important point, to mix our cultures with new visions. So in this way, these new markets are cooler than the other one that are.
Okay, great.
Okay. So, I want to show you a video about this trend of inclusivity, and then maybe we can speak about it. We can talk.
Okay.
It is from a brand, of a beauty brand called Billy, and let's get a look.
Our hair has a very important announcement to make. Women have mustaches too.
The world may not know this because we go through a lot to hide them.
We've been hiding them all our lives. But newsflash, we've got them.
So this November, we're growing them out and joining in. Because a stash is a stash. Because a stash is a stash. And we shouldn't let our perfectly good ones go to waste.
Okay, so this is a kind of social teaser about this movement called Movember, that is the day to not shave. And so this is a kind of social movie about the feminism and about inclusivity. So you can see a lot of different kind of real people, not models, with different body shapes, different skins, and so on. So this is the new inclusivity for the future. This is the new way that brands are starting to communicate a new kind of beauty, a kind of ugliness or ugly beauty, it is called, and it is about reality and natural aesthetic. So
I think, if I'm not wrong, Dolce & Gabbana did this inclusivity in 2 previous catwalk shows.
Yes, in the casting. In fact, Dolce & Gabbana collaborates with an important agency in Milan called Street People Casting that cast not model but real people and introduce in the catwalks many different kind of real people acting like models. Yeah, it is real.
And just to, because maybe not all the students knows exactly the meaning of inclusivity.
Yes.
Because you are saying inclusivity, so maybe you are expert, and just to have an additional idea.
Yes, inclusivity is an attitude to include different kinds of body, of skins, of age, of love. Also, it's about love, not ordinary love. It's a big community that loves everybody. And this attitude is starting to also contaminate fashion and communication.
And we are all happy because it's more real. It's more real. It's what happens. We feel more comfortable with our body, with our colors, because this is the new society.
Yeah, it's about body confidence, and it is very important. And for sure, this trend can enlarge the market because you can have much more different kind of customers, not just one, but everybody.
Okay.
So let's talk about methods of research. In this postmodernist era, the fashion process takes place in manner very fast, as I said. Production and consumption times are decreased. Seasons are cancelled, mixed, or overlapped. Genres are unified. So for this reason, you can see also that are catwalks with hybridization of men and of women, for example. Fashion is born, transforms, and dies quickly. Fashion returns and renews itself through a reinterpretation of the past, as we said before. So fashion is always contaminated by art, music, etc. And you have to be curious and updated of every sectors around you. To discover trends, we have to collect aesthetic and textual data with a multidisciplinary approach. This is very important. Through some information channels that are websites, blogs, and social profiles, for example, and independent magazine, books, and sector publishings. There are some must among websites and among creatives that I would like to suggest to you to start to do your visual research. For example, trendrun.com. This is a multidisciplinary web platform with art, design, architecture, fashion, still life sectors to do textual and visual research. And I suggest to you to get a look to this website and also to the Instagram profile of Trendland. Then another one is Maggie on the Rocks.
One second, Noemi. Guys, take notes because what Noemi is saying to you now is really important for you.
Yes.
Because I think most of you want to be designer, or maybe after this talk you want to be cool hunter. So this is an important things that Noemi is sharing with you.
Yeah. If you want, I can send you all the slides, by the way. So you
okay, perfect. Me too, I can share the slide.
Okay. So Maggie on the Rocks founded. Oh, there's a question, maybe.
Yeah, she said yes, please.
Okay. No problem. Maggie on the Rocks was founded as a Tumblr of visual research by Patricia Guerritet-Smallor, that she is a knitwear designer, and suddenly Maggie on the Rocks becomes an aesthetic reference for fashion lovers and for fashion players. Then we have Inspiration Provider, another website of visual research and inspirations, focuses on art, fashion, design, and illustration. Then I put Nowness, that it is a digital platform focuses on videos. We have to remember that in this moment, not only images are important, but also videos, animations, and GIF. Now, let's get a look to some creatives, modern and cool in this moment. Coco Capitan, Spanish-born, London-based artist, and she's known for her handicraft lettering. But after all, because she collaborates with Gucci and Paco Rabanne. Then I put Nicolas Coulomb. He is a photographer, and he used to shoot fresh-faced ethereal babes in very cool clothes and exciting settings. He is also the founder of November magazine, that is a very cool magazine of this moment.
Okay, Noemi, sorry if I'm interrupting you, because I think that the time is running, and because all this suggestion is in your PowerPoint that we will share, I think that maybe it's good if we have just the last 1-2 questions before to close this session, and then of course Noemi will be in contact with Shivang, with Fad for future courses we are planning to do. But if you have some specific question, guys, just 1 or 2, because I think we are taking too much time. It's just 2 hours and a half. And so, no question? No question at the moment. Okay. So, okay. First of all, I want to thank Noemi, because I think what she explained to you is so precious for you guys, because it's the first insider that can tell you what is in real the role and the position of the coulanter.